So this past week, I've been hanging out with my very best friend, Judgment. We're like this, and I've been playing with just feeling into the judgments, the shoulds, and and what that feels like. I've had these experiences this past week of like wanting to be like really big and expanded, but then the shoulds or the social constraints are like, no, close it all in, be tight, tamp it down. And really feeling into the disgruntlement or the agitation as I feel both the desire to be one way and the should to be a different way. And it's just like I can feel just the tension in my chest. Just these parts of me are fighting in two different directions. And I just really don't like discomfort. And I'm realizing just how much my judgments cause discomfort. It's this, maybe I should be doing something, but the fact that there is a should there and another part of me that isn't in that same alignment, it feels really uncomfortable. And I've been practicing, with just kind of feeling into these different places. So I feel a should here. I should be this particular way. I should be doing things this way, or I should be breathing in this particular way. I should be saying or doing or feeling this particular way, even though there's a part of me that's like, no, that's not here. And yet at the same time, knowing that I have to, for, whatever reason, I have to choose the should at this time. And so practicing changing my language, instead of saying I should be this particular way, it's more of I am choosing to be this particular way right now. And it's interesting how much that changes that internal experience of agitation. It's that instead of I have two parts fighting up against each other, everything starts going in the same direction. And it feels easy. There's a sense of release and ease that happens. It's just that subtle changing of the language. Instead of I should do it and I'm going to have to do it because I should, or I should be doing this and I'm not. It's that I'm willing, I am choosing, I am willing to experience being in this particular way. And then everything comes into alignment and it settles down. All of the different parts of me are going in the same direction. And playing with it, feeling into that, even with it's a situation that I don't want to experience. Say I'm feeling pain that I don't want to feel. And then asking myself, am I willing to feel this? Am I willing to feel this experience? Not I should feel this experience, or I should change it, or it should be different. Whatever that should might be. But asking myself, am I willing? Am I willing to feel this? And it's crazy, just that sense of the internal fighting, the different parts of me going in different directions causes so much of my distress. It's like when I really settle into that, yes, I am willing, all those little parts of me come into alignment. It feels easier. There's more release, and the whole situation is less distressing. It's less overwhelming. So that's what I want us to play with today, is looking for the places that we judge, looking for the shoulds. I should be this way. I should be breathing a particular way. I should be feeling relaxed, or I should be able to handle this situation, or I should be responding in this particular way. We all have them. We have so many shoulds. We have so many judgments. And then asking yourself, am I willing? Am I willing to experience this? Or am I willing to do this? Even if it's not something I would naturally do, am I willing? So it's just that playing with the wording and seeing what happens. Now, of course, this is this really important part about judgment. If you ask yourself, am I willing to experience this? And there's a tightening up that says, no, I'm not willing to experience this. I'm not. Then we don't judge the judgment. It's that internal bow of respect to it that says, thank you. Thank you for telling me that I am not willing to experience this at this time. There is a lesson, a gift in here that still needs to be given. There's something in here that I don't know yet. And it's not ready to fall into that alignment. That's okay. So just like a really, really deep respect for when you get that response back that says, actually, no, I'm not willing. Not yet. And you might even ask that, put on that not yet. It's not just I'm not willing, period. I'm not willing yet. It opens that window of saying, I'm not willing yet, but I want to know more. I want to know why I'm not willing. I want to feel into this a little bit more. So there's this really delicate balance with judgment of falling into alignment is a choice. It's willingness. And it's also a really deep respect for when those parts of yourself are like, no, not happening. So holding both of these as we explore and just noticing how when if you're the type of person that says, yes, I will be willing. Why am I not willing yet? And the difficulty with that bow of respect. Okay, that's not here yet. And then maybe just some acceptance of that. Like, okay, am I willing to experience the rejection of willingness? Again, you just kind of step back a little bit further and further. Am I willing to stay with even the rejection of willingness? And they just keep following the trail. So it gets back to that point of the closer and closer and closer I can get to choosing this experience, the greater ease there is inside. All right. So let's go play. Just starting with breath. Maybe even taking a few of those slow, deliberate breaths. It's almost that reminder, yep, I'm breathing. Maybe even making it so you can hear your breath just a little bit. We sense it, we feel it. Can you hear it? Can you hear the inhale or hear the exhale? Sometimes it's even just that little bit of just a, you can do that with your mouth closed. Just that little bit of sound, starting to hear your breath, tuning into it. Hearing your breath right now in this moment. And then feeling it, feeling the temperature change right there at your nose. Where it's just a little bit cooler on the inhale, a little bit warmer on the exhale. Beginning to just feel into those sensory details of breathing. It's not just movement, but there's sound, there's temperature, there's pressure, there's rhythm and movement. Feeling the air at your nose, going through your nose, those little muscles in the cheek, through the soft palate of the throat. Following the inhale all the way down into the chest. Maybe noticing the rise and fall of chest right there in the front. Maybe you can even notice that little movement of your collarbones as they rest there at your sternum, right where they meet in the center. Noticing that little rise and fall of the bones. Maybe noticing the way the ribs kind of pull open and out away from the sternum with the inhale. Relaxing back towards the center with the exhale. Noticing the breath in the back of the body. Feeling how the shoulder blades can move on the chest. Resting right there on the ribs. And then noticing that diaphragm, that muscle that connects all the way around your torso, around the bottom of your ribs, all the way to the point of the end of the sternum right there, in the front of your chest. Feeling that little tiny muscle tug and pull as it contracts downward, opening the rib cage. And then it floats back up with the exhale. Maybe just noticing that downward pulling movement right there in the front of the chest. And then the floating back up with the exhale. And then perhaps noticing the breath all the way down into the belly. Noticing the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe. And just feeling your breath, being in your breath. And every time you notice that mind wandering, just acknowledge it. Oh, that mind has wandered again. And just bring it back to breathing over and over again, 100,000 times. And so as we begin to explore these judgments, I want you to stay really close with your body, paying attention to your body, noticing your chest, your back, your torso, your belly, your hips, your legs, your arms, your shoulders. The body gives us so many little clues. Noticing what it feels like just breathing, just focusing on the breath, letting your body be just right here in this moment. And then as you begin to look at that a situation, an area that's common or familiar, you all know where you judge a lot. You like to just bring that into your mind and even just watch your body respond, even as that thought flickers across your mind. Just notice. It's like I bring up that judgment, and it's like my shoulders immediately want to pull in. There's tightness across my chest. My lower belly wants to pull up, just like that. A little gasp, hold the breath, pull in. You don't have to do anything, just noticing the body, noticing the normal ways that your body reacts when you bring up your favorite familiar should, your favorite familiar judgment. You should be a particular way, you should say a particular thing, you need to act, do, or say, or feel, or not. Maybe even noticing if there is a part of tension, if there's a part of you that wants to do otherwise. Or maybe not. Maybe all of you really feels the judgment and it all falls into alignment for you in that way. I know I have a stubborn streak that it tends to push back. And so if you notice that, notice in your body where there might be that sense of friction and holding. And the part of you that says, should, you're doing it wrong. It needs to be different. If only you ... And then the part of you that's doing what you're doing. Where do you notice that friction point meeting? Some people feel it in their shoulders, in their neck, the back of the head, or their forehead. Some people feel it in their belly or their chest. Sometimes it feels like a constriction, a tightening. Sometimes it feels like a pressure. Again, those little sensory details. Sometimes it can feel like a sound, like, boulders crunching together, crackling sound. And it can be hard to sit with the discomfort of it, to feel the discomfort of that internal judgment happening. So coming back to your breath every time you need to, just breathing, never forcing. Again, we're practicing that non-judgment, no forcing, no making happen, simply allowing deep respect to wherever you are, whatever you're needing. Coming back to the breath over and over and over. And then you can play with that willingness in many different ways. You can ask yourself, am I willing to feel the friction of wanting one thing and then judging myself for it? Am I willing to feel that discomfort? I'm choosing it. In this moment, I'm choosing to feel discomfort and friction of two parts of myself pushing up against each other. Or you might say, I am willing to do whatever it is that I'm judging myself to do. So rather than that stubborn fighting against, I'm pulling all of myself behind it and saying, yes, I am willing to choose to do this judgment. Or you can say, I am willing to release the judgment. I am willing to be what I'm being, do what I'm doing, and I am going to deliberately choose to release the judgment. I am willing. I'm willing to risk that feeling. So different ways to choose, different ways to express that willingness. But in each way, it's that sense of getting all of yourself in a line. And then noticing if there's resistance to that, if there is the pushback, the tensing further that says, no, I'm not willing. I can't choose that. And truly, truly giving that place a deep bow of respect. A bow of respect that says, thank you. Thank you for showing me the unwillingness. And I will respect that. And maybe I'll even rephrase it. I'm not willing to yet. And I respect that. And again, just paying attention to those sensory details in your body where you might feel tension or heat or coolness or pain or looseness, relaxation or lightness or openness. Whatever might be there for you right now. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. Just the noticing how your body is responding as you play with this experience of judgment and willingness. I notice for myself when I feel those places coming into alignment, where all of me is going in the same direction and that willingness. I feel a lightness in my chest. It's like I can breathe deeply. And it's a satisfying breath. It's like a deep, satisfying breath. I also notice that there's this feeling of almost anticipation. Like at this point, anything's possible. I don't feel the stuckness or the friction of that fighting against myself. So there's just that little bit of excitement. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's next. But it might be very different for you. So noticing your experience, however it happens to be, that just noticing, welcoming, allowing, willing. That's what's here right now. And I choose to be with what's here right now. And then bringing all of your awareness to your breathing. Really just filling your lungs from the top and the middle of the bottom of your lungs. Deep inhale and then exhaling it all out. Again, maybe hearing the sound of the breath, hearing the inhale and the exhale. Just taking a few more moments, a few more breaths. And when you feel ready, opening your eyes.